السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With His divine support, here we are again with one more Friday to continue our struggle and crawling towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as long as we live. We may not be the fastest or the strongest or the smartest, but we are persistent, resistant, and resilient, and we never give up. Once we give up, life will destroy us. As we all know, life always destroys the weak people. No room for weakness. On our way to Medina, on our way to Mecca, as I promised you, we will continue deriving lessons from the journey with the youth, leaving the classroom and taking them out to train them how to walk to Allah unsupervised. And that's when we can close our eyes one day and go to sleep for eternity, to wake up tomorrow at home knowing that our children will be fine. They have been trained. One of the lessons I learned for the first time, we prayed in Al-Masjid al-Nabawi on Friday. As usual, we go and wait for the Imam to come, and we are expecting on Friday the Imam will read Surah As-Sajdah and Surah Al-Insan. But to me it was a surprise. When the Imam started, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. You know who just read? Al-Imam Al-Hudhaifi. But this time he read differently. But he took me back to a time when we used to run towards the Quran, when there was a time you wish to get an audio tape from Al-Hudhaifi or Al-Husari or Ali Jabir, and we grew up with them, with their voice. To me, I say to the boy and the two girls, this is the best Fajr I ever prayed in my life, because he took me back to 1983, when we were on Friday, we were going to a so-called Hamidiyya in Damascus. And on the way, me and one more boy, his name is Suleiman, now he's in Germany. And we were learning the Quran together from Sheikh Abdul Ghani Salahi rahmatullahi alayh. And that boy was so scared, and he was reading the Quran to the Sheikh, and he said, ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك فهي كالحجارة أو أشد قهوة. And the Sheikh said, قهوة على رأسك. And the Sheikh smiled. For the first time we see him smiling, because as you know, in the past, the Quran teacher has to be serious because the Quran is heavy. And Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, when receiving the Quran, he was told, be ready. Be ready, inna sanulqi alayka qawlan thaqila. We are going to throw on you a very heavy task. Every word in the Quran is heavy only when we understand. And on our way to Surah Hamidiyya, Al-Hudhaifi was reading. وَبِالْحَقِّ أَنزَلْنَاهُ وَبِالْحَقِّ نَزَلْ وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا مُبَشِّرًا وَنَذِيرًا وَقُرْآنًا فَرَقْنَاهُ لِتَقْرَأَهُ عَلَى النَّاسِ عَلَى مُكْثٍ وَنَزَّلْنَاهُ تَنزِيلًا وَرَتَّلْنَاهُ تَرْتِيلًا. And I remember these verses from that day, and we wish, and I said to Suleiman, I wish I have the whole Quran with Al-Huzaifi. So these people are the universal Quran teachers, and there are many of them around. And this time, after 20 or 30 years since I left Madinah, he used to be the Imam there. And now I went back, surprisingly, he was the Imam reading, but he read Surah Al-Dukhan, not Surah Al-Sajdah, not Surah Al-Insan, and you can see he's struggling to say the words. Very old man, but he's still rolling with the Quran. And after every ayah, he's coughing. But you can see, you made us fall in love with the true music that makes the souls dance in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You made it. Your voice is very familiar to the Muslim world wherever they are. And I noticed this is the best Fajr I ever prayed, because I was very connected, and he was reading about the legacy of Fir'aun. كم تركوا من جنات وعيون وزروع ومقام كريم ونعمة كانوا فيها فاكهين كذلك وأورثناها قوما آخرين فما بكت عليهم السماء والأرض وما كانوا منظرين. This I was talking about the legacy or the so-called civilization of Pharaoh. It was Jahiliyyah because it was against Allah's way. And anything against Allah's way, we can call it civilization, modernity, freedom, democracy, whatever it is. To Allah it is Jahiliyyah. Why? Because it is against Allah's will. And this ayah takes you to what people will do when I pass away. How many people will cry for my absence? For Fir'aun and his people, nobody on earth cried for them, and nobody in the heaven cried for them or feel sorry for them. Abdullah bin Abbas said, إِذَا مَاتَ الرَّجُلُ الصَّالِحُ بَكَى لَهُ مَوْدِعَانِ مَوْدِعٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَمَوْدِعٌ فِي السَّمَاءِ when a good person dies, two places will cry and miss that person. One place on earth and one place in the heavens. أما موضعه في الأرض فموضع سجوده. Any place you made sujood, any place you recited the Quran, any place you submitted to Allah, that place will miss you because He wants to witness for you more that you used the earth as a masjid to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That place will miss us. And the other place in the heaven, فَمَوْضِعُ عَمَلِهِ الصَّالِحِ إِلَيْهِ يَسْعَدُ الْكَلِمُ الطَّيِّبُ وَلَعَمَلُ الصَّالِحُ يَرْفَعُ. Whatever we do, we have a saving account in the heavens, receiving what we do and what we say. And when we die, that is over, unless we leave behind us ongoing charity, or we leave behind us a child, a boy or a girl, who will continue in worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or we leave behind us a Quran we taught, or any knowledge that is useful to mankind that we taught. We still receive something though we are dead. I remember that salat, and I remember the lion became old but still roaring, but louder this time, because he's telling the new generation of Quran, I taught you for more than maybe 30 years, I can say. And now my bones are weak, my hair is gray, I'm losing my voice, I'm losing my memory, you take over. I pass on the baton to you. This is a big commitment we need to remember. When people getting older and older, they are giving us messages, and we have to take that message with power. The way Allah said to Yahya alayhi salam, Ya Yahya, khudhil kitaba biquwa. Oh Yahya, take the book with sincerity and with power. If you are weak, you cannot take the Quran. You cannot take the hadith because it will challenge you and your desire and what you want and what you done to see if you are truly a believer or not. It's one of the lessons I learned in this trip, and it took me back in time to remember who taught you Quran. The Sheikh has no idea that he taught us, but Allah knows, and they are still. And then I come to realize to myself, when I'm leading the people in Canberra, am I a reason for them to be connected with Allah, or my voice is annoying to them, or my stand or my presence? It is a very big responsibility. And the Prophet ﷺ said, one of the people Allah will never look at on the day of judgment, man amma qawman wa hum lahu karihun, is when you lead people who don't want you to lead them, but you impose your leadership on them and use a position to keep them quiet for you to say what you want because you have the power of the microphone. But they have the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I prayed, I hope that I'm connecting you with Allah when I'm standing here or in the mihrab. These two places are the most dangerous places on earth, but only when we understand what they are all about. That was a lesson I will never forget. The people who leave the Quran behind as a legacy. And this morning, again, I asked these two students who went to Umrah, tell me something that touched you in this trip. And this boy said, I could not believe someone will lie inside Al-Masjid al-Nabawi. He was shocked. He couldn't believe somebody will lie inside Al-Masjid al-Nabawi. Because while we are there for Fajr Salat, a gentleman approached me. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? In English. Are you from Nigeria? I said, no. I'm from Burkina Faso. تتكلم العربية؟ نعم أتكلم العربية. And then he started. No, I'm from this country. No, my father died in jihad. I'm alone with my mom only. And right now I'm a student in Madinah University, but I have no money. I said I was in Madinah University and I used to have 800 riyal a month. How come you don't have money? And then he took off. And then the boy asked what he was wanting. As I explained to him, he said, what? Someone lying inside a masjid? I said, yes. If you don't have a masjid inside you, this masjid will never benefit you, because the real masjid is the one Allah built our hearts. This one, we made it a part of our architecture to beautify our eyes, but the real masjid, it has to be in your heart. The real Kaaba, it has to be in your heart. Otherwise, you go to the Kaaba and you just want to become famous with videos and audios. Here I am, oh my people. We're supposed to say, here I am, oh Allah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. It is very dangerous. Religion is the worst when it is wrong, because people are convicted to it. And a person can only stand strong if you stand on your own truth and speak and act with your deepest convictions. If you do that, you will be a very powerful human being. You are convicted with something, and we have to live and die for it. So I tell that boy, that's what happens. People go to the masjid, and this happened in my Burkina Faso. And when the Imam was talking about it, I couldn't believe it. In the month of Ramadan, i'tikaf, men and women, and one man and one woman did what you know inside the masjid, in the name of i'tikaf. Once you worship your desire, there is no masjid for you, no Kaaba, no Masjidun Nabawi. The desire will drive us. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ وَأَضَلَّهُ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ. What can you think about someone who made their drive of their life and their God is their desire? They go astray, but they know this is a masjid. But what do they do in this masjid? This is a Kaaba, but what do they do? The believers come to visit Allah in His house and to put their footsteps on the footsteps of the father and the son, with the support of the loyal wife Hajar. They want to put their footsteps on them, on theirs, and say, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, connected with the kingdom of Allah, and other people still on the mud on earth, around the Kaaba, stealing the money of the Hajji, who saved their money for years and years, just to come and say, oh Allah, I'm from China, I made it. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. I'm from Australia, I made it. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. I'm from Pakistan, I'm from India, I'm from Comor Islands, I'm from New Zealand, and all the countries to say, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, and this person dealing with the money, Labbaik al-malu labbaik. Yes, to the call of money. There is no hurma or respect once our heart deviated. So don't be shocked if we see people coming here to meet their girlfriends or boyfriends, or to trade vapes and marijuanas. This has become a club for them. Umar bin Khattab struggled to leave the club of Makkah. They used to call it Darun Nadwa. Anything important in Makkah will be discussed in Darun Nadwa. With the leadership of Abu Jahl, Umar was there. But he did his best to leave Darun Nadwa to Dar al-Arqam. One day you will put in the value of making a decision. Shall I obey Allah or obey mankind? That day is coming, and then we will know who we were, because difficulty don't change people. It only exposes people. That's what it is. No wonder why Umar bin Khattab, he wanted to know one person one day. And he asked, who knows that man? And one man said, I do know him. Umar said to him, Anta jaruhu, are you his neighbor? فَالْجَارُ أَعْلَمُ بِأَخْلَاقِ جَارِهِ. A neighbor knows the conduct of his neighbor. The man said, La. Umar said to him, هَلْ اسْتَحَبْتَهُ فِي سَفَرٍ? Did you travel with him? فَسَفَرُ مُكْشِفَةٌ لِلطِّبَاعِ. Traveling, going through hardship, will let people take out their real behavior and conduct and who they really are. The man said, no, I didn't travel with him. Umar bin Khattab said to him, أَتَاجَرْتَ مَعَهُ وَعَمَلْتَهُ بِالدِّرْهَمْ وَالدِّينَارِ فَالدِّرْهَمُ وَالدِّينَارُ يَكْشِفَانِ مَعَادِنَ الرِّجَالِ. Did you deal with him in business, money, dollars? Because money will show the reality of man. And the man said, no, I didn't. And then Umar said to him, هل رأيته في المسجد يهز رأسه في السجود والركوع? The man said yes. Did you see him in the masjid, up and down with sujood and ruku? The man said yes. Umar said to him, sit down, you don't know that man. You don't know him yet. So no one knows except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And why we are here except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we have to correct our intention and niyyah all the time. So we want the boys and the girls. And the other girl, she was crying because she couldn't make the Umrah. Why? We stayed 5 days in Madinah, and that day we went to Abiyar Ali, put our ihram on, go to the Makkah. Before we arrived, Allah sent to her the red message telling her, you are adult, and from now on, take things seriously. This is a warning letter from Allah when the girl said it. And she was crying, how come? And I said to her, don't. Islam is do and don't. Now, Allah has chosen you to do something different from us. All you need to do, you made the niyyah already, but you can't do it. You cannot go tawaf around the Kaaba. So cut your hair, and you have to pay 400 riyal to kill animal. So Allah brought you here to feed the poor, and He brought us here to go around the Kaaba 7 times, Safa and Marwa, and then go out, shave our hair, and then we go back. But for you, you came for something different. All the way from Australia to feed the poor people. Allah employed you. And the surprise is that after 3 days, she was clear, and she went to Masjid Aisha and do the ihram and come back and perform Umrah 3 times. You see, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. You didn't like that. Allah made you 2 ibadah. And we go back to Australia, one ibadah, only Umrah. You failed. It is good when we know Islam is not emotion. Islam is do and don't. Submit to Allah. When He says pray, you pray. Don't, you don't. Fast, you do. And that's what we learn. Every day, we have to be like a sailor. And we have to discover a new island in our depths every day. Study people. You will never know somebody maybe after 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, or 40, and then you will come to know who they are. So always it's very important to study humans as a book. Study them as experience. And remember, everyone is unique, and we can benefit from them in one way or another. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم وجعلنا وإياكم من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Dear believers, to close, last week we spoke about Umar bin Khattab, who was so difficult to deal with, and the Prophet ﷺ gave up on him partially, not fully, to hand over his profile to Allah. Allah, deal with this man, we need him for Islam. This man is a good man, but he doesn't know the way yet. So he prayed for Umar bin Khattab. Allahumma a'izz al-Islam bi Umar ibn al-Khattab or bi Amr ibn Hisham, ayyuhuma ahabbu ilayka. Oh Allah, one of these 2 men who you love the most, make Islam strong through them. And Umar was the chosen one. But look how humble he is. The Prophet said, Allah made Islam strong by you, Umar. You made Islam stronger. Umar used to say, no. نحن قوم أعزنا الله بالإسلام. We are a people who become strong only through Islam. ومهما ابتغينا العزة بغيره. And if we think that anything that can make us strong other than Islam, أذلنا الله. Allah will humiliate us and put us down. With Allah we grow. When we say Allahu Akbar, we mean it. We also will grow if we hold on to him. This Umar bin Khattab, so humble. Sometimes he wants to have fun, but it can turn him into seriousness. A Bedouin came to him one day and said, Ya Umar al-Khayri, juzit al-Jannah, uksu bunayati wa ummahunna, wa kun lana min az-zamani junna, aqsamtu billahi la taf'alanna. Oh good Umar, may Allah reward you with Jannah. Clothe or give clothes to my wife and her daughters. I have a wife, we don't have clothes, hijab for them. And my daughters, وَكُنْ لَهُمْ مِنَ الزَّمَانِ جُنَّةً, and protect them from the hardship of time and situations. There are men and women who are going through that right now around the world. And we are invited to help them. And there Umar said to this man, joking with him, you swear by Allah I will do that? وَإِن لَمْ أَفْعَلْ, if I don't do it? The man said, Ya Aba Hafsin la adhabanna. If you don't help me, I will go away. And then Umar bin Khattab said, ثُمَّ مَاذَا, and then what? And then he said, وَاللَّهِ عَنْ حَالِي لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَ تَكُونُ الْأُعْتِيَاتُ مِنَّا وَمَوْقِفُ الْمَسْئُولِ بَيْنَهُنَّ إِمَّا إِلَى نَارٍ وَإِمَّا جَنَّةٍ. Then Umar wasn't smiling anymore, he cried. Because he was serious, he said, if you don't help me now, I will walk away, somebody else will do. But remember, in the court of Allah, what was the reason you didn't help me and my wife and my daughters? And then Umar cried, and he said to the ghulam, Atihi qamisi, give him my clothes. I don't have other one, not because of his poetry, but because of that day. That is the type of man who the Prophet prayed for, and the dua of the Prophet hit him in the heart and made him submit forever. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the power of Umar and the justice of Umar and the humility of Umar bin Khattab. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أحسن ختامنا وأخرجنا من الدنيا مسلمين. اللهم أحسن ختامنا وأخرجنا من الدنيا مسلمين. اللهم أحسن ختامنا وأخرجنا من الدنيا مسلمين. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا واقض الدين عنا وعن المدينين وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استووا اعتدلوا تراسوا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.